Hello dear friends and welcome to Story Time. Today we are going to read a story by a Russian writer by the name of Vitaliy Bianki. He lived in the early to middle 20th century. He was a great scientist and explorer and traveled all over Eurasian continent. He came back from his expeditions with a lot of notes, but he didn't quite know what to do with them. He didn't have an opportunity to publish, and so they sort of just sat there, and that bothered him greatly. And so, eventually, he decided to make them into educational stories for children that were also fascinating and magical. Today, we're going to read just such a story by the name of Mayflies or 1001 Days. Listen to this tale of the underwater world, the tale of 3 miracles. It is a tale, but it's also true. There's nothing we can do about that. Things in the underwater world are not the same as on solid ground. Our fairy tale is truth for those living underwater. Water in the underwater world is the same as our air. The sky is flat. There is no rain or snow. When it hails, the hail doesn't reach the bottom, but stops halfway through the water, turns, and flies back into the sky. It floats there until it melts. The sky, too, was made out of water. Underwater dwellers, various fish, leeches, and water bugs, are used to them, and this doesn't surprise them at all. But then, a miracle happened. Summer was coming to its end. The day was drenched in sunshine. The sky of water sparkled with silver. When the weather was good, the sky was always silver. Suddenly, it hailed with tiny little bits. Small bits of hail flew down without stopping, and a miracle made it to the bottom. They settled there and did not melt. All the underwater dwellers were very surprised, but soon the bits of hail became covered with sand and silt, and everyone forgot about them. Then winter came, and sky turned to ice, and the underwater world went to sleep and slept soundly until spring. In spring, the sky melted. All the underwater population started moving again. Water bugs opened their wings and flew off to our sunny world, returning only when they felt like it. The fish got so playful they popped out through the sky, their silver scales flashing in the sun, then dove back into the water. Even leeches found a way. They latched themselves onto kids who came swimming and ended up above water. But far below, at the very bottom, there were small, ugly, 6-legged creatures who never saw bright sunlight. They were shaggy, with tails that looked like little brooms. They dug their burrows in the sand and did not dare look out in case some underwater monster was around to grab them, a predatory larva or some beetle, the monstrous ruff, or a water scorpion. These creatures ate whatever they could find, were always hungry, and grew very slowly. But they didn't cry about it. It would have been ridiculous to cry underwater, since it was already plenty wet. 1,000 days passed. 1,000 days makes 3 winters and 3 summers. 3 long years passed since the wondrous hail fell underwater and the tiny bits of it fell to the bottom. Once again, summer was drawing to its end. The shaggy little creatures changed little. The size of a match from nose to tail. They were as slender as matches too, and they never looked up at the sun. And my cat is trying to help me read the story, but he won't come closer. Finally, The day came, as quiet, warm, and sunny as ever. The underwater sky sparkled with silver. Suddenly, all the creatures at once, and there was a multitude of them, crawled out of their burrows and floated up. They left the underwater realm and crawled onto the shore, to the sun, to the air, and then they started having seizures. Their entire little bodies shrunk, writhed, and straightened over and over. Their skins popped at the back and started peeling off. They fell to the ground as if the creatures had discarded their clothing. Once the shaggy little skins were gone, the ugly little monsters turned into beauties straight out of a fairy tale. Slender, smooth little bodies, big eyes, thin little whiskers, netted wings on their backs, and another pair of wings beneath them, little orange spots on their bellies, and tails on 3 thin, flexible threads. It was the second miracle of the underwater world. Come and look as snowfall comes twirling by the river. Through the shrubs it weaves and crawls, or soars and spins and quivers. It rises like a shaggy mane, it rustles slight and wispy. Against the waves it weaves and feigns, and sweeps the rushes crisply. The reeds are green and sprightly, and winter's far away. The sun is shining brightly, cold winds are kept at bay. The sweeping, swirling blizzard means not the summer's end. It's pretty little mayflies dancing by the river's bend. Everyone was glad to see the mayflies, people, birds, and fish. They danced in the air all day, spinning in circles up and down, up and down. They did not have a care in the sunny world. All they wanted to do was rejoice in the sunlight and dance. They did not think of food or drink. Come to think of it, they couldn't eat or drink anyway. They had no mouths. They danced and whirled up and down until sunset. And then they all fell in the water and died. In the morning, when the sun rose again, the entire riverbank was covered with mayflies as if they were snow. But don't you dare cry for them. After all, the mayflies came out of the underwater world for one solitary day, their holiday, to dance in the air and enjoy the sunshine. They had no cares. They didn't even have mouths to eat and drink. All they had were the eyes to see all of the beauty of this sun-drenched world, the net wings and the little tails, each of 3 long threads. When they fell into the river, their tiny eggs fell into the water like hail, the same miraculous kind of hail that fell in the underwater world 1,001 days earlier. The tiny bits of hail fell to the ground and became covered with sand and silt. Ugly, shaggy, 6-legged creatures would emerge in the spring. They would spend 1,000 days, 3 winters, and 3 summers at the dark bottom of the river, never seeing the sun. But the day would come, filled with sunlight, when the little monsters float to the shore, cast off their shaggy skins, turn into beautiful mayflies, and dance in the air like a summer blizzard. And then the fairy tale would become truth, and joy would never be extinct. That is the third and most important miracle. This was the story of Mayflies and 1001 Days by Vitaliy Bianki. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you again next time.